Hello, and welcome to another game development broadcast for Project CSK. As usual, of course, I am the creator of the project, and the online name that I go by is Des. We're going to continue working on the development of the project and more or less pick up from where it was in the last broadcast. Of course, in the last broadcast, I was working on actually, I don't remember what I was working on in the last broadcast, to be honest. But we're going to continue somewhere in between kind of where the last broadcast was and where I kind of last left things off in the previous session that I was doing some development on over the weekend. I did have an opportunity over the weekend to address some of the minor things. Then I came across this little detail that I kind of overlooked a little bit, but we'll get into that. And we'll get into it very soon. The idea, of course, with this project is to try to build it out in a way where it is cross-platform, meaning it works on all devices that Unity can pretty much export to as long as it meets the minimum system requirements, and then support touchscreen, gamepad, and mouse and keyboard. And I do test it personally on my Android devices and on my Windows desktop. And eventually I have a Linux the system that I'm getting up and running as well, which I'll be doing some more testing, and I'll have that as my new dev server just locally for myself, just so I can test things and it's not always off my main computer. So then I'll be testing on 3 different operating systems, and it's been interesting. The new version, the new Unity version has come a long way, and it's slowly becoming and transforming into something that's almost a playable beta. And that's kind of the goal right now, is I want it to be at that point where it's playable. Because the old Flash client that we're porting away from, right, it's playable. I mean, you can say it is playable. It's not really something that is modern, I would say, to put it nicely, because it is using Flash Player, and we all know at this time that Flash Player reached end of life at end of 2020. Some people would say even before that is when it's really started to fade out. But it really reached end of life, end of 2020. No browser supported as far as I know. And the only way to play Flash games right now is the standalone Flash Player projector, which Adobe has even taken off of their website. They don't even provide the link anymore. So you have to find it from other websites. And even I host the latest version of it on my through my forum for anyone who's interested in just downloading it to be able to play your Flash games. And that way you'll be able to play classic Flash games such as this one and others indefinitely for pretty much indefinitely. I don't see that changing at all. So the goal of what I'm making now, though, is to make something that it kind of catches up in terms of functionality to where the Flash Player client was before, and then surpass that much, much, much further and take it to a complete whole new level in terms of gameplay, mechanics, performance, of course, visual aesthetics and fidelity, and much, much more. We're also using real-time lighting, and we get all the benefits of GPU performance, which was previously not realistically possible within Flash using vector art. So I do understand that near end of life, when Flash was reaching pretty much the end, they did allow some sort of 3D GPU accelerated hardware, but that really didn't catch on. They did themselves a disservice by releasing it at that time. It would have been much better if they would have put that on the roadmap earlier, and they relayed that information very clearly to developers and implemented in a way that it could be leveraged by not only new projects, but hopefully to some degree, maybe not even completely, but to some degree by older projects, like supported through vector graphics and whatnot. But anyway, that's in the past. That's way in the past. And what we're looking at is the future. and the future is going to be awesome when it's playable, of course. For right now, there's still a few bugs and kinks that I'm currently working on in some of the current functionality. But like I said, I do want to get this to be a playable beta or alpha, should I say. And by that, I mean within the game rooms, right? The goal right now is the game rooms, because when the functionality of the game rooms is implemented, that functionality is shared throughout the rest of the project. So it will translate into the functionality of the world and everything else to some degree, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal. And that's where we're going to pick things up from right there and move on. I do actually remember what I was working on vaguely in the last broadcast. I think I was working on the navigation and trying to get it to work so that the correct selected element, yeah, I think that's what I was working on. So the correct selected element should be in focus. And I, of course, got that working, which is what you see here. So it works very well. And it works exactly as intended, regardless of the orientation of the camera. So whatever is the current selection will always be within the viewable area of the mask of the scroll view component, which is, of course, the Unity component itself. And then, so from there, then what I went to is I got the character model kind of working. The FPS is just tanking right now. I'm not sure why, but I can definitely see that it is really not doing well. It must have been something I did or some testing that I put in the last last time I was working on it, but it's kind of working. So where I'm actually at though is we go log in. Okay, so we have a game room. I have it on the Flash client. So this one over here is logged in on my test account. This is, of course, all local. This is not on the live site. So I have this model just here, or this test account just sitting there waiting, and we'll be jumping in and out of this room, and that's the room that we see here. So what I'm going to be doing is when I jump into this room, it does a synchronization, and you can see that the positions of the character models are on top of each other, which is, of course, not desirable, but then it will sync, and then once it syncs, then they go to their correct respective positions, which is where it's supposed to be. However, the other challenge is, so when I move my character here, right, it does not, how can I illustrate this? It does not show correctly. Like you'll notice where I'm standing here and where I'm standing here. How can I show both? Because as soon as I click here, we're going to lose focus. I can, I guess, squish this. Or, actually, alternatively, let's see. Do I have the Flash player as one of the video inputs? Because then I could just show it on top, and then I don't need to keep moving it in and out of the screen view. And that way you guys can see more or less kind of what I see. I guess not. Really? I thought I had that configured before. I must have taken it out at some point. Okay, just bear with me for a sec. So camera, audio. Okay. And then we got screen primary. No, I must have taken it out at some point when I was messing around with it. Okay, that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll add a new window capture. Okay, and we'll call this one Flash player. Oh, I do have it. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so there it is. So we got it's a little small. I'll scale it up. Okay, so now you guys should be able to see that. I know it looks a little messy right now, but that's okay. We'll get there soon enough. All right. So once the new round begins, let me just clear that, and we'll go to the new round. Okay, so once the new round begins, then you'll see that the positions get reset, which is correct. Okay, so this is a bit too big. I want to scale this down a little bit more. I think you guys can see that. If you can't see it that well, just let me know. Okay, so the positions are correct, but then when I move my main character over here, right, you'll notice where it moves to on the Flash player. It's because the X and Y is kind of, it's not displaying the right information. So right now, and this is what I'm working on right now, is, and I'm going to be working on this, is trying to get them to communicate using the same position value roughly, right? Because it doesn't matter if it's a Flash client, a Unity client, a whatever Java client, it doesn't matter what the client is. All it is a socket connection, which is a TCP/IP binary socket connection, and it sends information. And then whatever is on the receiving end takes that information, parses it, breaks it up into its individual components of what it should be, takes that, validates it, and then uses that information. Once that information is used for the intended usage, then the results are synchronized across all clients, and then that information is of course synchronized through the same TCP/IP socket connection, so it sends that information back. And what's happening right now is because there's two different position systems being used. One is Flash, which uses XY only. It does not use Z. And then the other is Unity, which is using XYZ, right? So it's a three variables for position versus two variables for position. So XY versus XYZ. And of course, to go from XYZ to XY, the Z becomes the Y. The X stays the same. That's because there is no depth. So that's what's happening here, is because I just got this working, right? And my positioning that I'm moving inside of Unity is on XYZ, and then vice versa. So the other thing that I need to fix is my character. So when I move this character, right, you can see me moving, but on the Unity client, it's not doing anything. So I don't know what's going on there. But so that's the next part. First, I got to get the communication going one way, then I'll get it going the other way, and then they'll both be synchronized, and I'll be able to move on to the next task. Anyway, so that's the idea. So for those of you that are here, hello and welcome. Feel free to say hi. I don't mind if you say hi or if you want to ask questions or whatever. I really don't mind. Engagement is part of the reason why I do this. But if you want to just sit back and relax and watch me work on the project, that's perfectly acceptable as well. I don't mind. Just keep in mind too, though, that if you're here to support and show your support for me, having engagement statistically does help. So whether you're watching on YouTube, because I do broadcast on YouTube at the same time, or whether you're watching on Twitch, you are not counted as a viewable user. You are not counted as engagement. The more engagement, the more likely the algorithm will show to other users who might potentially be interested in this content as well. And if you hit that like button or if you hit the follow button, that even shows more engagement. And that is how you can help me. Anyway, so with that said, and with that out of the way, what I need to figure out is, first of all, what is going on in terms of the information being sent from the Unity client, because we're going to start from here, because I think this is the important part, because I know it's semi broken, but not like broken. It's just missing the translation of XYZ to XY, and then sending it over to the Flash client. So what we're going to do is have a look at that and see what's going on. Now, when we go and send, I believe in the last time I was working on it, I put in a little test thing for myself to help me identify the potential source. Yeah, right here. So continue here. Let's go have a look at this note that I left for myself. Okay, so the start position at time of bind is not correct. Okay, so that's the binding of the iModel data object, which each character model has that is on the stage. Somehow it is not being set and comes up 0, 0, 0. Oh, okay. I'll definitely look into that. And then the sending position data to the server needs to be converted to 2D XY before it is sent to the server. Okay, so yeah, I definitely need to do that. And this is temporary because server expects XY. And that's only temporary, really, meaning that until we're still reliant or no longer reliant on the old Flash client for testing, I'm going to be using XY in parallel to XYZ. Right? And then eventually when we no longer need that and we've caught up to, in terms of functionality and communication, to the Flash client, I'm going to be ditching the Flash client and all the XY and Flash related conversion logic. So all of that will be removed or at least disabled. And then when opposition player moves, the Unity model does not move. Okay, so that's the next step following afterward. And then check all positions are working correctly. Okay, then move back on to game room environment, need pixel art for a pillar and destroyable object. Okay, so that's farther down the line. So for right now, this is the focus, right? And then from there, we'll move on to this one and then test this. And hopefully we'll get to that point. And then be able to check all of it and make sure it's working. So that's 4 different things that roughly, they're all related, but 4 things that I would like to do before I go and move on to pixel art and environment and that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's get started on the first one right here. So at the time of bind, okay, a position XYZ is not correct. Okay. So when we bind, we are setting the iModel data reference to this. Okay, so we're taking the iModel data, we're receiving it, we're calling unbind just in case because we are recycling the object through the object pool system. So we are reusing it. So we want to make sure we call unbind first, just in case there was a previous bind on this character model object. And then we set the new one. So now this is going to be bound. And we set all of it. Okay. I got some conditional logic, which is fine. Not a big deal. Okay. So that's what we need to do. So why is position not correct? And I think this is the one I was looking at. Position, I'm not sure which one. Let's stop it and then start it and have a look at the fresh when we enter into the game room, right? What happens at that point? Okay, so right here is where it fails. Okay, so right here, we have this get map position local 3D. So that is right here. Sorry, I just need to take the brightness down a tiny bit. Just bear with me for a sec. Okay, so that's better. Yeah, my eyes are very sensitive to artificial light, so I have to be very careful because I spend a lot of time in front of monitors and whatnot, and I turn them down generally as low as I can go. and then sometimes even lower. So I'm one of those guys where I turn down brightness almost all the way. Like when I normally use my monitor, brightness is down. I take the RGB values all the way down, and then I go in there and I take down the contrast down to about anywhere, depending on the monitor and the environment, anywhere between 5 to 15%. So it's very, very, very dim. In terms of the monitor brightness, but I see it perfectly fine. I can differentiate between the colors very well. And that way it doesn't bother my eyes. I know if I get those newer, like fancy monitors with high refresh rate and all that other stuff, I could turn it up a bit more, but I don't really see a value in that at this time, because technology just gets better and better over time. I just need to be mindful of my eyes to not stress them out with them just getting blasted with artificial light. And artificial light is, I mean, it's okay if you're only exposed to it for a short period of time, but for an extended period of time, it really does kind of take its toll on you, and it will exhaust your eyes and your mind with it as well. Okay, so what I want to do, let's have a look at that information again. Okay, so Model 1 bind position. Okay, so the first one is the bind position. Okay. The second one is the get a map position local 3D. There should be more info here. No, okay, so that's right. It's just my spacing is wrong. So it looks, I don't have a space there, so it just kind of threw me off a little bit. Okay, so the map position local 3D is fine. And then there's the get map position. Oh yeah, so my variables right now are a bit misleading, but I think it's this one or this one. I need to, when I was working on it, I was just changing my variable names on the fly. So I ended up getting similar named variables. This one uses encapsulation. This one is actually different than this one. One of them does a conversion calculation. No, I don't want to go through the interface. I want to go to, I think just, nope. There we go again. Okay, so I want the iModel data. Let's close that. NPC user, let's close that. iModel data. Okay, so one of these does the conversion. Okay, there we go. So the one with encapsulation, so this one, takes the map position local 3D, which is this variable, and it does a map offset correction. So the map offset correction is to put the character model onto the center point of the current cube that it's on, and the offset position is the offset of half the width, half the height kind of offset position, just to plunk it right exactly on the center, because the information of what we're getting right from the Flash client, right, it needs to be translated, right? And then I need to translate this back when sending it over to the Flash client, which is why the other the Flash client doesn't show that information or isn't displaying the character model position in the correct position. That's why, because we need to do that conversion again. But for right now, though, when we get this, so before, at this point, when we call bind iModel data, right, it looks like the position, so this one, map position local 3D is empty. It's not set. That's why it's giving us 0, 0, 0, which is what results in the models being right on top of each other. So that means this map position local 3D, that means the offset is also not being applied. sorry, no, this is giving us 0, 0, 0 plus the offset. So that's the value that, whoops, wrong one. That's the value that we're seeing. So this is the combined value with the offset. This is just the raw value, and it shouldn't be 0, 0, 0. It should have something in there, because when we go and we add a, where are we? Character, nope, wrong location. That's not what I meant to do. So when we go and where's game room? Did I add something? Yeah, okay, so I did add a space there. Okay, so in game room, when we go and there's a bunch of synchronization packets. Okay, so synchronize member complete. Okay, that's fine. Synchronize game map data. Okay, so that's the bulk of the information that comes, that has all the map data that's generated from the server. Clear round data, pick up object, start position. Okay, so that's one of them. So that's start position. And then there is distributable object, pick up object, frozen, handle game lobby joint success. Oh, okay, that's when we're flipping back to the game lobby. That actually shouldn't be in here, should be in a different location, but I'll refactor that logic at a later time. So the only position one that I can see is the player start position. So let's go to that function and have a look at it. Okay, so on start position, we get the XY, okay? So we get the XY, which is given to us from the server that the Flash client provided. And then what we do is we pass that through the player user object, which is not a Unity game object, but just a class that does a bunch of logic. Okay, so this does the conversion here. So it does a little bit of a conversion to the Unity units of measurement from Flash's pixel measurement. And then we retain the same Z, so whatever Z was. So we set map position local and we set map position local 3D, and that's right. So X is X, and then Y becomes the Z. And then map position local. I think that should be in here. Okay, that's fine. So at this point, so we have start position. We should see start position X, start position Y. Do we see that here? Is there a start position X, start position Y? I don't think I saw that. Because the start position is sent at the start of the new round when you're given your position. Okay, so that means that's not the position. That would be set at round start time, so you would get the new one, which makes sense because it's your start position by the definition of the word. Okay, so if it's not your start position, then what's the other position? So it would be one of the synchronization packets that comes in that gives that provides XY, but I'm not sure what it would be. Okay, so let's have a look at the packets then. We'll go that route. So what we'll do is we will run it. So let's go log in. So I'll just, as soon as I go into the room, so we will join the room. You can see the, okay, so right here we should have the packets. Okay, so in here is the answer that we are looking for. So let's remove some of the stuff that we don't really need. Let's remove event manager. Let's move SFS. Okay, so that kind of brings it down a little bit. So what in here would have start position? Let's remove, that's all packets over the network anyway. Let's remove game engine. Let's remove GUI. Okay, so this is just purely just packets. Okay, so in here should be start position. Actually, I want these because it gives me a bit of a separation. Okay, self-visual indicator has not been set. Okay, so that gives us a bit of separation. So what is GRD? Let's go through the packets. GRD is game round duration. Okay, that's not it. GRP. Sorry, GPR is a game player revive. Okay, so if they were KO'd, they would be revived. So we get 2 GPRs, one for each, and then we get PIE. Everybody likes PIE. PIE is player input enabled. Okay. So we get PIE. And then GAU is ammo update. Okay, so our ammo, I think there's probably a better term I could have called that, but ammo just kind of made sense. And then GRDS, default speed, no. GRDP, default power. GPA, popsicle ammo. Okay. And then what about GDBA? Okay. So nope, I do not want to update right now. Thank you very much. Okay, and then the last one is GSA. Okay, so none of these have it. Something has to give you that position synchronization. Okay, so maybe it's before that. Maybe it's before that. Maybe it's one of these. Let's have a look at those. Okay, so CGMMOD. Nope. Don't want that. GRR. GRR is, okay, that's the remaining time. WGSM. Did I spell that wrong? I must have read it wrong. WGSM. Oh, never mind. That's a sending packet, not a receiving one. PAP is player active participant. I wonder what that has. Let's have a look at that one. So player active participant dispatches player active participant. What do we got in there? Okay, so that just comes with a user ID. Okay. Not exactly what I want, but okay. RSR, room state ready. It might be even before that because it would be ready set. RSG. Yeah, so ready, set, go. I know one of these packets has it. PSP. Player start position. Wait, that's what we were looking at before. Or is it actually? Because we were looking at game room. Game room. It was game start position. Is game start position same as player start position? I think that's it right there. So what I'm looking for is PSP. Player start position is not the same as game map start position. Let's double check that. So we'll track this one backward. So this one is game map start position change. So game map start position change is dispatched by here. Start position change. Start position change is player sync player. Wait, there must be more than one. Okay, so I think that's it right there. Is we want to follow player start position. Okay, so let's go with that. So when we dispatch it, okay, so it listens to it over here. No, that was it. I was kind of hoping. I think I'm going about this the wrong way, because there's two positions. One is the start position at the start of the round, but the other is the start position when you get the synchronization. When you join a room, there's a bunch of synchronization packets that you get for each character, for each object, for each game room, for each pickup item, for each whatever. In a dynamic environment, you need to be synced with everything, right? So one of them is the start position. One of them is the start position, meaning when a new game round starts, you get provided a start position. The other is not really the start position, it's a synchronization position. If you're entering into an active game room and people are running around, there's going to be a synchronization start position of wherever that person is. And then there's going to be updates of the position of that user as they move around and whatnot. So those are all like three different packets of position stuff, but I can't remember where the other one was. So that's why I'm kind of trying to chase it and trying to find kind of where that is. And I just can't remember it. I'll find it. I will find it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then when I find it, I'll be like, oh, it was so obvious. How did I not find it, right? Yeah, I've done that many, many times. So for those of you that are new, hello and welcome. Feel free to say hi. I do broadcast my development, or I try to at least broadcast it regularly on Tuesdays and on Fridays. It's just a little hobby of mine that I've been doing for some time, and it's a really great educational opportunity for me, and then for me to share it with you guys and the community members who are interested. I know not everyone's really interested on the technical side, not to this kind of detail, right? But then eventually it will be a playable game, just like this Flash client here, right? it will be a playable game, and we'll be able to play together online, just like the old Flash client, but it'll be way better. And I do mean way better, but just needs a little bit of work before we get to that point. And I'm being a little generous by saying just a little bit of work. It does need a fair bit of work, but it's fun though. I like the development side of it. It gives me an opportunity to learn and exercise a skill set that I don't usually use in my day-to-day life. Of course, way back, like over a decade ago, I was working as a web developer. So I do have some programming experience, but not game development, nothing like this. And 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, Unity wasn't what it is right now. Like there's a big difference, and Unity's come a long way to where it is now, where I can comfortably say, I think this is a good choice for building an indie project, and then so it can compile to natively to multiple different platforms and different operating systems and be performant and be something that I can say is going to be a good fit, and it'll be really good when we get there. It will. Anyway, so for those of you that are joining in, I honestly, I don't know what your backgrounds are, but if you're here, chances are you're either A, really interested in learning, or you are a developer and you have technical knowledge yourself. Potentially more in some areas and less in other areas in the technical field, or you're a designer, or whatever the case may be, or you're just a member of the community who's been following the project, which I do get from time to time, of people just jumping in to see kind of where we're at and when we'll have something that's going to be playable that we're all looking forward to, including me, of course, because it's going to be really good. And if you're interested in the kind of the roadmap of it, I would definitely recommend watching the 10th anniversary video where I explain the history, and then I explain the roadmap of where the project is going. And of course, we recently had the 12th anniversary, which I was broadcasting as well. If you want to just see me play the game, the Flash client, of course, the predecessor, which we're porting away from. If you want to see me play it in the game rooms and in the world with my pets and whatnot and some of the other players, and you want to see me get destroyed in the game rooms, playing Bomberman type of gameplay, by all means, check out that 12th anniversary video. It was really fun. I would like to do more of those. It's just finding the time to do that kind of stuff is not easy for me, right? Because I work like a normal full-time 9-to-5 job, right? I have other responsibilities and commitments, and there's this thing called sleep, which I need quite a bit of to be functional, and all this other stuff. And then I make time, right? So I really have to put a lot of effort into following a very structured time of day by day. This day, do this at this time, do this at this time, do that. On this day, do this, do this, do this. On this day, do this, 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 and this, right? That is what allows me to have time to put towards a project like this. Without that kind of scheduling, I can't find the time. And even that, I'm maximizing everything as best as I can to get the time as much as I can to be able to do something that I enjoy doing and something that I believe in. So that's how this kind of comes to play. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to track down that position thing. So maybe there's more. Maybe I'm missing something here. Am I missing something? Was there other packets that I did not consider? There was a whole bunch, sure. Was there anything position related? Actually, let's try it this way. Let's go position. Let's not be so selective. Okay, so we have player start position, which is the one we know of. Okay, so what else do we got? Player start position, position update. Okay, so that's for movement. And then we have pet position update. Okay, so we're not using that. And then that's it. Really? I thought there was another one. So we got position update, player start position, player position change player position change self. I'm not sure where that comes into play. Pet position, okay. Player start position. Okay, so maybe I'm misremembering it. Okay, let's test it. So I'm going to open up a new client. Okay, so on this one, we're going to go with James. Okay, so as soon as I click this room, I should see those players, the existing ones, in their current position. Yeah, and I do. Okay, so that means that even though I'm not I'm not one of the active players, the synchronization packets, one of them provided me that information. That's how I got that, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have. Okay, so that means, what if it is this and I'm just not using this information correctly? So let's put in a debug. So we'll say debug.log, and we will color it actually. So we'll say generic functions dot format text color. That'll be my message, and generic functions dot color. Let's make this one a something that kind of stands out a little bit. So we'll make it a soft blue. Let's go with that. Okay, so from this point, what we should have is you know what, I'll just keep it really simple, but I will indent it, put some arrow thingies, and then we'll have X, just because I want to see what those values are. So we'll have position X, and this is the raw data that comes from the server, and then we'll go position Y. Right? So let's see at what point do we get this, right, versus the other stuff afterward. So let's see what happens. I'm sure it's something really minor, because I often do that, is I overlook something that's really minor just because it's so easy to overlook those little details. Okay, so let's see, what did we get? Where's our light blue? We did not get it. Okay, we'll get it this time, right? As soon as it goes round, ready, set, go, we'll for sure. Okay, so there's our positioning, right? So that means we did not get that initially. So if we did not get that initially, that means there's something else that gives us that position information. Because if the Flash client can do it, then that means we can do it with the Unity client, and it's just a matter of figuring out what it was or what it is that gives us that. Because if it would have came out, or if it would have been used or provided, I would have seen this. I intentionally did this. I colored it blue. And if you're not familiar with color coding stuff inside of the Unity console, it's really easy. You can make rainbow colors on the same sentence. You can do whatever it is that you want. It just uses similar to HTML formatting tag. You just put color, your message, close color, there you go, right? You can do any hex color or any whatever that you want. It doesn't matter. it's really powerful in terms of allowing you to differentiate between the lines. I really like it. That's why my own personal console output thing, I also have colors, right? I use gray, white, green, and red. But this is for me, and this is kind of like somewhat following this one, but not exactly. You can't jump to line, but you can click on any one of these and it will expand, and that way you can see the stack trace. So this one I made, and it's very helpful, especially on like mobile devices or whatever else for debugging. It's not the exact same as this, it's my own. So these are two separate outputs of debug logging. They are separate, but they're both very useful, and I highly recommend having something like this for yourself. It just makes things so much easier to debug. Okay, so then that brings us back to position. So what is this? Position offset correction 2D, 3D. Okay, so that's when we set, okay, so that's from test mode. So that is from testing. Okay, I keep forgetting. You guys are seeing the flash. Let's get rid of that temporarily. Okay, we'll bring it back later when we need it. Okay, so what I want to do is let's just run it and see. I just want to see at what point. Okay, so this is the test stuff. Okay, and there's our position. So we'll clear that. Go here, log in. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to clear. Then I'm going to join. Okay, and then we will pause it. Okay, so what do we got here? Position wise. Screen offset position. Nope. Offset correction. Okay. But what about our, yeah, see, I don't. It has to be in here somewhere. In the, either in the game room or is it possible I missed a packet? If I missed a packet, actually, now that I think about it, that might be a possibility. If I missed a packet, it should come out as green as an unhandled packet, and then it should stand out. So let's have a look at that, just so I can eliminate all the potential cases. that physics stuff, it's hilarious. Sometimes you just get the weirdest results, but it's funny to look at. It is. Okay, so let's have a look at it and see, did I miss any packets? Okay. No listener. Okay, I'm looking at the green stuff specifically. Guild rank not implemented, that's fine. Synchronization complete. Okay. Reference self-visual indicator not set. Okay, so I didn't miss a packet. But let's see, at what point do we join the room? That shouldn't actually be happening. They shouldn't be I think there's a carriage return or some kind of character that's causing that. I'll need to look into that later. I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's my quest stuff. Okay, so that's all of that. Up to here's lobby. And then change scene to game room. Okay, so from here on, change to game room. This is where we start game room positioning. Des. Oh, it could be in my position. SAP. I didn't check sync of the position itself. I didn't think about that. Let's go with that. So SAP is, I think it's sync add player. Yeah, let's go with that. I think this might have it. So on the sync add player, let's see, where are we with that? So where's the listener? We got two listeners. One is game room manager. One is manager user. Oh, so, and neither of them are in my game room. Either way, let's have a look at the packet itself. Where are we here? Okay, let's go to the function. Okay, does this have position XY? No. Okay, so it doesn't have position XY. It was a good try. Okay, so it's not in sync add player. What's this other one? Okay, so that's sync add player, sync add. Why is there so many sync add players? Oh, sorry, that's duplicates. I need to disable that one. Okay, game room. Okay, so now there isn't duplicates. It's duplicates because one is my own after processing, and the other is from the SmartFox server client that's provided by the actual client, socket client. Okay, so then from here, then I get PDU. What is PDU? Player data update. Now that sounds promising. Let's go with that. Okay, so PDU. Where are we listening to it? In manager users of all places. Okay. So manager users, let's go to that function. There it is right there. So this has position XY. And that's why, that's why. Okay. All right, so we found the root. Now it's a matter of solving it. So this packet, when it comes in, the body of it, right, it has user ID, position XY, alive status, active participant. So that's what we need to do, is go into here, set map position local, and I guess I must have missed this one because there should be a set map position local 3D. How did I miss this one, actually? Because I thought I went through and I got all of them. I thought I got all of them, right? So after every single one, I went and I put in the 3D position conversion, right? I must have missed that one. So the one that was the important one is the one that I missed. Go figure. Yeah, so I missed that one. This one that I missed is what's been causing me. See, it's always the easy stuff, right? It's so obvious but because it's so obvious, it's so easy to overlook it. And now that I see it, I'm thinking, yeah, obviously, right? Now let's go see what the result of that is. So that means that now when we go join a room, right, we should right at the beginning get the synchronization, or sorry, get the correct position at time of synchronization. So when the character models are created, they should be in the right position. So let's have a look at that. There we go. Okay, so Jane, of course, is in the right position. Ourselves, our character model shouldn't even be active because we just joined the round. So where are we? Right there. So it should be active at the start of the round, meaning next round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another client. So we'll add James. Okay, so now we have another client in there. I'm going to exit. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing that is those two should sync. Because there's two active participants. As long as you have two active participants who synced correctly, the game round will start, right? So that's why you see the game round starting. But what I'm going to do is I'm intentionally going to move just over a little bit. So that one is there and this one is here. So keep that in mind. So now when we join with this new Unity client, our character model is going to be in the middle. That's because it just that's something else. I'll address that later. Okay, but those should be, and there they are. So they are in the correct positions. So James is in the correct position and Jane is in the correct position. Ours, you can ignore my model in the middle there. That guy's not supposed to be there until the next round when we become an active participant. That I think is there because of the test environment that I was doing. It auto enables your model and your input, even though I'm not an active participant. So I'm trying to move with my collider. That's why you see me doing this weird jumping thing. I can't move. I'm not supposed to be there anyway. Okay, but that's good though. So that's great actually. So the next thing is syncing our position to the Flash client so that they see us moving in the correct position. That's the next step. Yeah. Okay. So the new round should start. Okay. And then our model will be active. I'm going to scale this down because I think you guys already know the purpose of that at this point. Okay. So when I move, and I'm in the top right position. So when I move, right, what's my model doing on the Flash client, right? You can see it's completely in the wrong place, right? And that's because the X and Y positions are not being sent correctly. It should actually match pixel perfect positioning in terms of direction and position. So you can see the X is correct, right? Or at least it tries to be. Yeah, so the X is correct. It's the Y that's not correct, right? You can see that it's moving, but it's not moving, right? Because we're sending X and Z, I think, or I forget, but we'll fix that. So now the next thing that we need to do is have a look at what we're sending to the server. to synchronize that position. And all of this, I'm just doing this again temporarily, just because I still need the old Flash client to test against, right? Once we're done with that, then and I don't need the Flash client anymore, I'm going to completely disable and remove that XY position. It'll be purely XYZ, because we won't need XY position anymore on a 2D plane. It'll be 3D only. But in the meantime, we still need it to test against. And it's something that I see us using for testing for some time, until we get to pet combats in the world and we get into spell casting and all of that stuff. So still going to be a while. Okay, so this one should be hopefully a bit easier. So what I want to do is just go to my character model. So that's my character model. It's my fantastic character model right there. So one collider is for the position. The 2D flat thing that you can see is the, of course, the 2D pixel art. It is a plane, or a quad, should I say. And then the bigger circle one is our aggro radius, or should I say our interaction radius, of things we can interact with or whatever. Okay, so what I want is the position one. There should be one for position. Yes, model position sync. I think that's it right there. So let's have a look at this. So this one should be the one that syncs to the server. Face connect server, position X, Y, position converted to Flash. There we go. Character model, position converted to Flash. I think that's what's happening, is we're getting the wrong values. iModel data, convert position value units to Flash. Okay, so I think that is legacy, because before I was using the Unity tile map, which was also 2D. So what that needed to do was, because it was 2D to 2D, Flash uses inverse Y for its coordinate system. So it was inversing it, I believe, or something like that. But now we need a new one for converting XYZ into position XY, and it needs to be converted from a float value to a whole number, so an integer value. So it needs to be multiplied by 100. Okay, so let's have a look at this. What does this do? Oh, of course. So this would be inside of the model data. Why is NPC open? Okay, and there's our conversion using position. So we pass in position. Why is this open again? Oh, right, because I was jumping through stuff. Okay. Right. Okay, so we pass in, what position are we passing in? Sync player position to server. Where's that coming from? Position sync to I just realized I'm looking at the wrong one. This is for the pet logic. This is something I'll be dealing with much later. So what we want is this one here, not sync pet, but the move to position. So move to position, animator. Nope. Don't want that. Where? I closed it. Okay, so in here somewhere is where we sync to the server. Okay, so I don't want sync pet position. I want the player position. Handle position update. Okay. Okay, so I think we're getting closer. and then we call move to position, handle pet position. Is this purely the pet one? I don't think so. So position lerp. Okay, so that's for the other player or the opposition player, not for our player. There has to be a position one here somewhere. Move to position. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it. Because this is on the receiving end, because it decodes the direction. And it converts it into X, Y, and then it calls the character model, I model conversion position values to units. Okay, so it does that conversion. But this stuff, I don't want that. This is on the receiving end. I want specifically on the send. Okay, let's go about it another way. So instead of the socket in, we'll go socket out. So we'll look at position, send player position. That's it right there. So where do we call this from? Input movement controls. Really? I would have thought it would have been in a model position sync and animation. Okay. Not what I was thinking. Okay. So we got position X, we got position Y. So what we need to do is sync. So this sync is called for multiple locations. Let's have a look at that first. Sync position before action. And sync position before item pickup. Oh, okay. So that kind of makes sense of why I put it here, but I think there's a better position, or better place, should I say, to have that logic. Okay, so what we need then is we want to get access through the iModel data, so through the interface, and then the direction is fine. It's the position XY. It needs to do a conversion. So it's doing position current using the rigid body. And that's fine. We can definitely use that, but okay. So what we want is we want the Y to be the Z instead. I'll just do it quick and dirty for now. So what we want is position Y. So this all looks fine. Position current. So this should be Z. Map position offset correction. I don't know if this should be Z or not. That's right. That's still going to be the same. I just don't know if this should be Z. We'll find out. So I'll end this round. So if it works, we should see position movement on both clients being pretty much identical. Okay, of course my character is in the top left, so should be able to move, and yeah. Oh, okay, so my character's off by, you can see that the position is actually off by half a tile on the X and the Y, right? So right now I should be centered, whereas on the Flash client it's not. So I need to take that offset into account, because now we're dealing with okay, that's no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave this here for now, but that's going to be the old code. What we'll do is I'm just going to separate this logic out into a different function. So we'll say private vector2, right? Because it's just going to be xy is what we're going to be returning. Actually, vector2 int is what we're going to be returning. So that means it's a whole number. And then let's see, we're going to call this function get 2D position from 3D position. So we're going to pass it in a vector three. Yeah, we'll pass it in position current. Actually, it could just be position, it doesn't matter. So we're going to pass in that, and then we're going to return a vector to int. Position final is going to be new vector to int. Okay, and then we're going to return position final. Okay, but we need to do a little bit of calculation first. So it will be vector 2 position temporary equals a new, I guess we don't even really need that. It'll just be float position x equals, and I'll calculate it that way, float position y equals, yeah, okay, so let's do it that way. So the old values, that was the old way of doing it, right? Which is not bad. So x we know is correct. However, okay, so that's going to be our x. Oh, I need position current. I guess we don't really need to pass it in, because we have access to it right here. Yeah, okay, let's just make it a standalone function for now. I will clean this up and optimize it at a later time. For right now, I just need it to work. Okay, so we have x, so we'll do x first. And then we'll do y. And then in the end, we will convert them into whole numbers. Okay, so what I want to do is x is fine, but it still needs a offset of half a tile's worth. So position x still needs plus equals, I cannot remember the name. It was in the config. it was horizontal, or was it width? Map grid cell size width. Okay, so we need that divided by 2f. I'm not intentionally not doing it on the same line just because it's easier this way, multiplied by position scale multiplier x. And what is position scale multiplier x? It just converts it and multiplies by 100. And on the y, multiplied by negative 100. So that's intentional, of course, because like I said, y is flipped in Flash, and then to convert a decimal of units of measurement to a integer, which is Flash's pixel screen units measurement, you need to just multiply it by 100. So now this x is good. That x is absolutely good. It just needs to be converted. So position.x equals math f dot round math f dot round to int how come I can use it up here but I don't see it here? What am I missing? What am I missing? I'm using it up here. What am I doing wrong here? Math F, math O, uppercase and lowercase. Wow, really? Okay, sure. Okay. So uppercase, lowercase. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Okay, so since we're here, we'll do the same for the y, right? And then y will be position y. Okay, so the x, I'm quite confident, but of course we will test it. And then for the y, what I want is this one that I disabled. Just going to remove it out of there. Okay, so then the y is going to be this here, multiplied by map offset correction y. I think that's fine. Map offset correction y. I think that should be fine. But I still need to offset it by similar to the x. So we'll go position y plus equals same idea as this one, but just with some minor differences. So instead of grid cell size width, this one will be height multiplied by position multiplier x. This will be converted into y. Okay, so this should get us the conversion and make it into a Flash, which is what the server is currently expecting, right? This is what the server expects. And like I said, later on, we'll be stepping away from this, but I don't want to touch the server logic at this time. I just want to purely do this. Oh, hi, Uzek. How are you doing today? I didn't notice your little wave there. Hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's going well. The weather is getting warmer, so that's something I'm personally really looking forward to myself. And it's something that I think we're all kind of looking forward to, because I like the warm weather. It's something that's really something I look forward to personally. And it's something that I try to get really good usage out of. Not that I always have the opportunity to do it, but it's something that I try to, I really do try to make use of it. Okay, so with that, oh, and did you have any luck? And I remember you were asking me some questions in Discord last time. I don't know if you had any luck with. I hope those answers that I gave you were okay. Okay, so now that we have the position stuff, what I should be able to do is, let's put in a condition. So this we want. This I don't want to. This stuff is all legacy. The legacy stuff, I can take that out. I'm fairly confident in that. The direction one, that one we need. So that stays. And then what I want to do is I want to do an if. I want to do an if else. And we'll go up here. And again, this is temporary. Private Boolean send 2D position to server equals true. That's not what I wanted. This is because we are still using 2D flash positions. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll go down to wherever that was. If this equals true, nope, still trying to get Bunny. Oh, Bunny's a hard one, I think. Let's see. The question, if I vaguely remember, was about Ice Sprite and the Bunny. I can't, of course, share with you the specific values because I think that kind of takes away from the game itself. But what I can tell you, I believe, is that I think Ice Sprite has a better drop rate, if I'm not mistaken, than the Bunny does. They're both great pets. They really are. It's just that they're hard to get. I'm sorry, those numbers. They're not great. They really do need to be implemented better. But for right now, it kind of is what it is. It's not what I pressed. I can't find the buttons. So position default will go 0 if it is a fits that. So we'll go down and let's cut that. If send 2D position to server. Oh, I completely missed that. So that will be for that. That will be for, oh, again. Okay, so XY and then position X equals, how did we do that? I see. That's not really necessary to do that now that I think about it. So what we can do is, yeah, whatever, actually. I don't really care right now. So we'll say vector2 int, and we'll say position converted Is it insanely low percent? Yeah, I think it is. It's not just the percentage, it's the way it's calculated. That's part of it. So it's not just the percentage, it's how the equation works for the drops. So it's a two-factor. Position converted equals, okay, so we'll get this, and then we can set position X equals position converted dot X, and same thing for the Y. Okay, so that way this really should be called something else. Send 2D position to server. We'll call it send 2D position converted. I think there's a better word than converted. I just can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But so with this, I think this should fix that offset. So let's give it a try and see what does it look like. Maybe I'll try for iSprite first. You're welcome to try whichever you want, of course. And of course, I always recommend partying because I believe there's, however small, I believe partying increases your drop rate by a very, very small percentage. So partying is a good thing. I try to encourage that. And partying is more fun anyway when you're in a party. It's always more fun when there's other people. And part of the reason why I did that was because I played a lot of other games in the past where, like when you go farming or grinding or whatever the term is that people refer to it, you'll see people try to maximize. And to try to maximize, they'll take an entire space for themselves. And when you go into their area, they'll ask you, oh, can you go somewhere else, right? So how do you solve that to make it more beneficial, right? For that person, not just that person, but for everyone to maximize, right? You give a small bonus to partying, right? And by doing that, then instead of it being the person who's already there asking someone else, can you go somewhere else to go farm? What that results in instead is either you end up asking the other person or the other person asks you, hey, can we party together for bonus, right? I think that's a nice little incentive personally. That's something I try to encourage. I don't know how far I got into that kind of logic, but I always recommend partying. Okay, so I'm not going to wait for this round to expire. I'm just going to KO one of these players. Okay, so next round should be coming up very soon, and then we'll see if the position offset works. Okay, so start positions look good. So let's see. I'm of course the top left character, right? So let's see what happens when I move. Nope. Definitely not correct. Okay, so X is not correct. What about Y? Okay, so I got both of, really? So I got both of them wrong? Okay, fine. Okay. Send 2D position. Oh, I got my if statement backward. Ah, okay. So I just did all that, and then I get my if statement backward. So if this is false, use that. If it is true, use this. Okay, let's try that again. I do that sometimes. It's so easy to get an if statement logic backwards, and that's one of the reasons why I recommend to other people that have seen their code, they use reverse logic. You should never use reverse logic or reverse loops unless absolutely necessary. As a standard, always go forward logic, always go true conditions, right? So then you'll never have a mixture of forward and reverse logic in a complex scenario where you have multiple forward and reverse logics, and that makes the code really difficult to debug, right? Because if everything is forward logic, then or everything is reverse, which I don't recommend, it just makes it easier. And as a standard, we're just used to that. So, okay. So let's try this again. So we'll wait for, nope, we won't wait. I will KO that player. And then we'll see. So I may have gotten one of them wrong, but I don't think I should have gotten both of them wrong. So both the X and the Y that you've seen me manipulate with that offset. Okay. So let's see. When I move to the right, so left and right looks pretty good. What about up and down? Oh, wow, I got it. It seems a little bit off, though. It seems slightly off. Or is it just my imagination? It could just be the model. Like over here, I should be way up in the corner, so that's right. Right here, I should be about centered, and that looks about right. So yeah, that's centered. It's because the model inside of Unity, its position is slightly offset, so its center position visually doesn't look correct, even though it is the same value-wise if once you convert it. But okay, so if I go all the way down, okay, so that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, I think that's it for position. That looks correct. Of course, you see the slight delay in the other client moving behind, right? Because you're always playing against someone's history. That's how multiplayer games are. Now, people use a lot of complex predictions type logic to predictively detect where someone would move and try to position them based on that. And that's why you get this zipping around once in a while, like rubber banding, when you get an incorrect prediction. But okay, so this looks pretty good. Okay, so then the next step is when the other player moves, right? It should be it should correctly sync on the Unity client side. So what I'll do is I'll just leave my model up here, and I'll go to one of these, and let's move around. Okay, so I'm moving, but the Unity client is not doing anything. Okay, So then what we need to do is look at the position information. Oh, that's going to be a lot of information to display. It's going to take a while. Oh, there's an error. I didn't even notice that. Okay, so what is our error? Position, sync, and animate line 200. Line 200, animator. Okay, so we're no longer using animator. Animator is no longer used. That's why it was giving that error. I was using animator before, but we're no longer using that. Okay, so but what I was looking for though is the oh. That's fine. I kind of know where the start point is anyway. So on the in, when we get a position, where's the position update? Okay, so position update. That's what I want. So from here, what I want to do is go and see kind of what's going on here. Okay. Oh, animator, and then move to position. Okay, so that was pretty much. So that was the animator, and then it converts it. And then it says move to position. And then it gives the new position. Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so let's do a debug.log. And this will be our position move to new position. Okay, so I want to see what is that value, because I think that's what's incorrect, is potentially was the conversion that happened right before this, but I want to see exactly what it is that's causing it, and that way we'll find a solution for it. Okay, so we're waiting for next round. How are we doing for time? Oh, wow. That time, it just goes by so fast. Okay. It's interesting. Here's something I don't understand. If any of you can maybe help me with this question. What does this mean? So here's users in chat. Okay. But the user count is 2. Does that mean that all of these are, or most of them are bots and that's why they're not being counted? Or is it because they're inactive? It doesn't count them because it's very aggressive at trying to clear out the bots and try not to count them? Or what's going on there exactly? I never understood that. I tried Googling it. I couldn't find a definitive answer. So it could be that these users logged in and then logged out at a certain point, and it still kind of remains somehow, but I just don't understand that part. I mean, I get it. You guys are not that talkative, which is fine. But that's something I just don't understand that. I think that YouTube does a similar thing, not in the exact same manner, but something similar. I'm just not sure. Okay, so position. Let's see. When we move, what happens? One position moved and it crashes. Okay. Okay, so animator of model position sync has not been assigned. Okay, so position move. So that's why. It's because it's actually crashing. That's why it's not moving. Position transition complete. Okay, that's for the animator. So that's why the model wasn't moving, is because it was crashing. Now it's moving, but I'll need to log in again because it's in a crashed state, and have a look at that again and see kind of what's going on. Okay, we're getting closer and closer. I'm really quite optimistic of this new version of the game client. I think it's going to look really good when we get to that point. I like the pixel art. I like the coloring. I like the real-time lighting. I like the physics that you can do, particle effects, all that stuff. Okay, actually, I need focus over here. All right, so when we move, that's not exactly what's supposed to happen. What is even happening? I don't understand. That character's flying up in the air. Okay. Oh, it's because so the Y and the Z are mixed. So if we move left and right, oh, that's messed up still. How does that even... Oh, okay, so the position is actually correct for the most part. It's just the offset that's wrong. And of course, the Y and the Z need to be flipped, I think. Okay. Let's do that. So over here, when we go and we move the character, so over here, we move and we say transition in progress. Where's our XY? Transition in progress. Position transition tick. Okay. Position lerp. Okay. So this is it right here. When we're lerping, okay, so when we lerp, it's going to be X and Z, not X and Y. X and new position Z. Oh, I see. Okay, so this will be Y, and then Z will be 0. What happened there? Ah, I keep pressing the wrong button. That can't be right. How can that be right? My caret is jumping all over the place. That's so weird. I don't know how to press buttons on the keyboard. Someone help me, please. I'm having difficulties pressing buttons on the keyboard. Okay, so with that, because position goes X, Y, Z. Oh, wait, no, I got it wrong. X, Y, Z. This is supposed to be 0. This is supposed to be 0. This is supposed to be position new dot Y. Okay, that's what it is. The Z becomes the Y. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Okay. So let's see what happens this time. So I'm going to move Jane. Jane should probably be in the same position as before. So I'm going to move the Jane character. And let's see what happens with her position movement. Oh, that didn't seem right. Okay, so I definitely broke it. Not what I meant to do. Wonder if there's any errors. Okay, so there's definitely some, oh wow. There's so many errors. That is a lot of errors. Okay. That is a lot of errors. I was not expecting that. Let's see, what is it? Model position sync and animate line 182. Oh, okay, so it's this animator thing again. Okay, so I should just take out animator. Likely that's what's causing it. So what if I just take out animator entirely? How many usages do we have? Position, oh yeah, okay. So there's a lot. Okay, maybe not that many. I can do this. Yeah, I can definitely do this. Let's take out the animator. Okay, so that was it. That wasn't that big. It wasn't that bad at all. Okay, so that should stop giving me all of those errors. There was like I don't even know how many errors that was, but that was a lot. So let's try that again and see if we get a different result when it's not crashing like a million times. Nope, there's still crashes. Okay, so what is this one? Game Room 696. Game Room 696. Crate bomb from tile map. Oh yeah, okay, tile map doesn't exist yet. Handle bomb is a no-go. Okay. I want to just eliminate all of the errors because they can cause unpredictable results. And if it's in an errored state, it's not going to execute the code in the way that it should. So I want to address those first before I do anything else. Okay, so I don't see any now. That doesn't mean there won't be any. I'll KO one of the players. Okay, so there's more errors. Game room 750. So 750. It is tile map again. It's because I removed the I'm not using the old tiled map. It's I'm switching over to the new one because the tile map was the Unity 2D tile map. So I made a kind of a support class around it that I called tile map, but we're using the new one. So that's why these references, they will crash, but that's okay. I intentionally want them to crash so I can go in systematically and disable all of them. And then later on, all of those, instead of calling tile map, they'll call the environment map, which is the new one, and it's the 3D one. It'll do pretty much the same, but in a 3D environment. So it's okay for it to crash at this time. It just gives me more points of reference for later on. So let's keep continuing this test. Okay. Was there any more errors? Yep, got another one. What is this one? Model KO 265. Oh yeah, okay. So I definitely haven't touched that in a very long time. So model KO 265. Oh, whoops. 265. Okay, so there we go again, animator. Okay, so I will need to take out the animator out of this as well, because likely that's going to cause a bunch of errors. Okay. So that should be good for that class. Let's see, did we have any similar errors that I can maybe catch at the same time without having to restart so many times? Game room 658. Tile map. Okay. Okay, so let's restart it now. So those errors should be taken care of, and then we'll see if there's any more errors. How are we doing for time? Kind of getting there to that point that I'll need to log off at some point, but got a little bit more time. So hopefully I can try and track some of this stuff down. I don't want to leave it in a state like this if it's avoidable. Otherwise, it just makes my next development session a little bit more challenging. Okay, so next round should be starting. Okay, so let's see, do we have any more errors? Yep, still got a bunch more. Okay, so game room 556. Tile map. Tile map. Okay, so 531. Oh, I already, the lines already got shifted. I'll need to restart that. Okay, so next round, let's see what we get this time. The errors should be minimalist, if not completely gone by this time. So let's see, what do we got? Nope, just as I say that, there's still more. There's always more. Okay, game room 679. 679 is tile map. Okay, I should probably just take out tile map. It's just that there's so many references to it. I don't know which ones to take out right now. Because if I just take out tile map entirely, let's see what happens. So if I just take out tile map, how much stuff do I break? Not that many, to be honest, at this point. I think I'm better off just taking out tile map because it's going to keep popping up. Let's take out tile map. Because tile map, it was the old one, right? It was the old 2D one. So let's take that out. We will take this whole block out. Update geometry. Okay, so that's old. Pretty sure that's old, but I'll leave that. I don't care. I don't want to do that kind of cleanup right now. Destroyed block. Okay. Let's take it out right from here, I guess. I'm just trying to get it to not give me these errors. Do high-level bunnies have better probability? I don't recall, to be honest. If you're referring to the egg drop, I don't recall. Okay, so I think that should be it in terms of tile map. Okay, yeah, so all the references, oops, sorry, wrong screen. Anyway, you guys get the idea. I took out all the references to tile map, so let's try it again and see. Hopefully this time there won't be any more errors. No guarantees, of course, but they should be down to pretty much near zero or close to it. Okay, next round will begin. Okay, so let's see. Do we have any errors? No errors. Okay. Doesn't mean there won't be any. So let's KO one of these players and see what happens. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so there's an error. Two more. What is this one? Model KO again? Really? Okay. So this one is model KO. What's the other one? Model KO. So model KO 285, model KO 284. Wait, 284. Okay. So let's go to 284. Animation property curve. Oh. It's the KO animation. Okay. We'll disable that whole thing. Because the KO animation doesn't exist anyway. And I'm going to be redoing it to a degree. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, so no errors. We'll wait for next round. I think we got it this time. I could be wrong, but looks promising. Yep, we got it this time. Let's test that again just to make sure. So we'll KO that one. Okay, so no errors. All right, so now position movement. So when I move this character, it's definitely not right. Okay. So what is happening now with the position movement? We're back to where we should have been a little while ago before we got sidetracked with the other stuff. Okay, so Jane is definitely, her position is not being translated correctly. So over here, when we're getting the move to position, we're getting we're getting Y value. It should be X and Z value. It's coming in from here, so that means this conversion, convert position values to units, this is wrong. So where is model data? Guild component, no. World creature, no. Input movement control, let's close that. Okay, so conversion. Okay, so this is what's wrong. We need we need it on XYZ, and we're getting it on the XY. So let's go ahead and change that function call. So instead of calling this, I'm going to make a new one actually. So XY will get changed to XYZ. So that would mean that position XYZ, position Y will be ignored for now. Position Z is going to be position Y, position multiplier Y, and map offset correction Y. Okay, and then let's call that value, or sorry, that function iModel data. Oh, okay, my interface doesn't have that. So the interface needs vector 3. And this takes position XY. So float position X, float position Y. Okay, so now that should be exposed through the interface. So this shouldn't give us an error, which is correct. Okay, let's see what that does. I don't know if that will fix it completely, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Okay, so if we move this character, not exactly. So, but we are getting X, Y, Z. The question is, what are we getting? So she's into the ground. So that's not correct. So it's into the ground. The map offset is, oh, is it using the wrong offset? It's using the 2D offset instead of the 3D offset. Okay. Okay, so map offset correction should be using no, that is right. So we're doing multiplier plus X, Y. Oh, okay. I think that's what I may have mistaken on. So this will remain as Y, and then this one will be plus Z. I think that's what I did wrong. So it goes X, Y, Z. Y will be whatever the map offset correction is. So it'll go up on the Y by, I think, 0.2 float value. The Z, this will get multiplied because it comes in as an integer, as a whole value. And then what we return is a value that can be used. Okay, let's try that real quick and see. I'm hoping this works because I'm kind of reaching end of day here and I'm not thinking clearly right now. For those of you that are here, hello and welcome. Please hit that follow button or the like button if you do enjoy the content and would like to kind of stay up to date with the project. I do broadcast on Tuesdays and on Fridays, and I'm reaching pretty much the end of this broadcast right now because I do need to go to sleep to be up for work early tomorrow. But the next broadcast, of course, will be on Friday. My Friday broadcast is a little bit longer, but this is something that I've been working on for quite some time. So if you want to see the previous broadcasts or if you want to just skim through them, you're welcome to it. I multicast onto YouTube and onto Twitch at the same time. And on YouTube is where the previous broadcasts are archived so that if you want to skim through any of those, you're welcome to it. Okay, so that's not exactly correct. So the end position is correct. The start position is wrong. Okay, so the X end position is correct. The Y position is wrong. Why? Do I need to go inverse Y? I think I might need to go inverse Y. I think that's what's happening. It's because we're taking the value directly. So let's go Y instead of plus. Let's go Y minus. Yeah, let's go Y minus and see what that does. think that should be part of it, because in Flash, the Y position is inverse. So we need to flip that. We need to apply the offset. We need to make it from 2D into 3D, and then offset the position of the cube, half the width, half the height, and we should have the right value. It's just, I don't think I'm doing that math correctly or that logic correctly right now. I'm just not thinking clearly. But it should, hopefully. Okay, so offset is not correct. Definitely not correct. But the X, so the X end position is correct. But the start position, so that's the other thing, is the start position is kind of messed up. So what is the, yeah. I don't think I'm solving this tonight. It'll be one of those things I'll come back to at a later time. So likely sometime tomorrow or something, and I'll be able to solve it at that point. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. For those of you that are here, that are new, by all means, feel free to hit that follow button, or join the Discord community if you want to just be one of the players. The Flash client that you see me testing on, it is still playable for those who do enjoy playing it. And we were playing it the other day too for the 12th anniversary, if you can believe that it's been that long already. It is, I consider to be classic game at this time. 12 years old for a game, I would say it's classic for sure. But anyway, so if you enjoy this content, or if you just want to stay up to speed with it, of course, watching these broadcasts is probably the best source of information you can get. I do write on my dev journals on the official forum through the official website. I do try to write that every 2-3 weeks. I don't always get to, just because time doesn't always allow for it, or you know, maybe I don't have the best information to write at that time, but I will try to write an entry into there every 2 to 3 weeks or so. And then of course there's Twitter and Instagram, if you want to just kind of know when I go live. And of course I do post on Discord as well when I go live. Discord is more of just a hangout. It's not about game development. It's about just the community and the members and whatnot. But yeah, so that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed it or got some educational or entertainment or all of the above. But that's going to be it for me today. So thank you for watching, and have a great evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.